This is Tom Rule, the Mac Music Guy with MacMusicGuy.com. Wanted to discuss my keyboard setup for the CD release party at Joey Stuckey's Mixture album. This is something that I set up specifically for the concert. Big problem with playing a CD release concert, at least from this album perspective, is that in the studio, I was using a whole bunch of keyboard stuff there, including that DW8000 Korg that has the towel on it, and then my Roland RD700, and then some soft synths and that kind of stuff. But I needed to duplicate that live. Now I was also playing the left-hand part, the bass lines. My left hand's playing bass lines, so I don't have 10 fingers, I have 5 to do that. And with the song Fall, it has some epic pad stuff going on, including toward the end, this huge pipe organ thing. So I wanted to discuss, this is a feature that's in the RD700 series that just made my life so much easier, and I wanted to share that with everybody. This is features available in the SX and the GX and the NX. So this keyboard's actually a few years old, still eminently usable, obviously. So here's my setup here. I've got the RD700sx. This is my primary keyboard. I've got a MIDI out cable going into this Roland RS9. Why the RS9? It's the one that was at the studio that I could use. Had some sounds that I could use for it. The goal was to set things up to where I can play this, I never have to touch the RS9. And as it turned out, that was a good thing. The original plan, I was going to have this set up here and then the RS9 over here on my left or my right, and there was no room on the stage. So the RS9 ended up below the stage. Thank goodness I had some long MIDI cables. So once we set it up, turned it on, I didn't have to touch that one again. Had the volume all the way up, and then the sound guy could adjust volumes and all that kind of stuff. Well, actually, I did. I ran this into a 4-channel mixer, 2 here, 2 from this one, and then the left channels both went to a bass amp. The right channels both went to a keyboard amp because I was playing bass at the same time. So let's take a look at this particular feature. Now, what I've got here, the RD700 has 4 internal zones. 1, 2, 3, 4. At the beginning of the song, I was using only 2 of them. Let's take a look at the sounds. Strings, pad, and steel guitar. Now, internal, this was the string pad. With some delay and the cathedral reverb. You can see those settings right here. Cathedral setting and that kind of stuff. The steel guitar is using on the bass side. So what I wanted to do was I needed 2 organ pads. I really like the organ sounds on this particular keyboard. Here's Massive Pipe. And then Full Stops, number 80. With actually a touch of distortion. So you bring it in, which worked okay. The problem is that this wasn't big enough for the beginning of the piece. So I'm going to kill that volume. So what I discovered, and the thing was here all along, and this was the first time I'd actually used it live. With the RD700 series, you've got an external and internal button. So not only do you have the 4 zones internal, but you can also have 4 zones in the external. So what I did is I connected a MIDI cable to MIDI out 2. And at that point, and then into the RS9. And the RS9 is all the time, depending on your settings, but obviously you can set it to where it will respond to 16 MIDI channels. I only needed 4, so that worked. You can tell on each zone here, you can set it so that it can change where each zone is sending the MIDI out. So you can send it to both outputs and the USB, excuse me, or just out 1, or just out 2, or just out the USB. Now, I didn't have the USB active on this one, so that was obviously pointless. Let's see if I can angle this a little better. Come on, camera. So I had them going out MIDI 2, and then each zone to a different MIDI channel. And then I downloaded the RS9 owner's manual, or the patch list, from the Roland USA site, and it gives me the most significant bit, least significant bit, and the program change for a particular sound. So once I found a sound I liked, I looked at the list, and it showed me, there we go, it showed me what the MSB, LSB, and the program change was. So all I had to do was to set it out to, that's the right port, the right channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 65089, 65055. So here's what those sound like. The 65089, oh, had the volume down. Works better. Kind of a string sound. The 66055, kind of a voicey pad kind of thing, and then 66055 again. What I did is doubled them up because that thickened it up. You add those three together, add what I've got in with from the RD700, and you have a very full sound. Now I've also got a bass in the RD700. Let's turn that on. That's 660-109. So tuck the camera in the pocket. So you get at the beginning this. So you can hear that's really, really thick. Now, at the midpoint of the piece, I needed to bring in the pipe organs. So, we've got this going. Then add in the first pipe organ. And then eventually add in the second pipe organ, so you get this massive. So basically, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sounds going on at the same time. So if I'm playing 3 notes, that's 18 notes. Makes it very, very massive. And I've actually got 2 sounds going on with the left hand. So you get this full, massive thing that worked very, very well for the performance. So that's just a feature, how you take a Roland RD700 series keyboard and very easily control a second keyboard. You're just playing just one, but you can bring in and out sounds quite nicely. So what do you do if you don't need that? Let's say I go to the next song, Windows down. I didn't need this keyboard, second keyboard. So all you do, switch to external, and then you make sure all of these buttons are off. So when I call up fall, switch to external, you can see all 4 of them are on. Move to the next one, to poop to bop, external, none of them on. So I've got nothing coming from the RS9 on those. So that made it very quick and easy to switch back and forth to songs and songs and songs. So I could have the RS9 on or off just depending on the sounds here. One other thing about playing this thing live, and I love this, absolutely love this feature. The setups you can set up to be automatically called up here. You can see here, you go to setup. Now num lock has to be off for this to work. If num lock is on, you're just dialing in the setups manually. But turn num lock off, see the bank. This is something that the manual does not explain well at all. And you've got assign and bank change soft buttons. 4 banks of 10. So if I call up 0, that's impressions. Call up 1, that's wheel C. Call up 2, that's fall. That's setup 28. 3, windows down, setup 38. 7, raining, that's setup 34. So essentially you've got any of your 100 setups can be assigned to any of these. And the way you do that, you hit the assign button, you get the list. You can see 0 is impressions, 1 is wheel C, 2 is fall, 3 windows down, etc. So all you have to do to assign it, you hold down the assign button and hit one of those buttons over there, the 0 through 9, and that'll assign it. Makes it quick and easy to call up a patch, call up a setup, and if you set it up like I spent the first part of this video doing, telling you about, then you're set up your patches for both of them. Very quick, very easy, very nice. Thank you, Roland. So that is just a tidbit from the Mac Music Guy from MacMusicGuy.com.